So then they go on, we'll convert your children, happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep them from disco, warn about San Francisco, make them wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children, we'll make them tolerant and fair. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So the cat's out of the bag. The gay agenda is real, and they are coming for your kids. This was confirmed this past weekend by the San Francisco Gay Men's Choir, who sang a song about it. So that's what this video today is about. Going over what was said in the song and basically what they're admitting to. But before we get into it, make sure you click the subscribe button below. It really helps me out. Tell your friends, share these videos. So let's get into it. So the name of the song is A Message from the Gay Community. Now, I have a copy of the full video itself. I'm not going to show it here, but I will show some clips. It has been taken down from YouTube, and as of last night, it was taken down from their Facebook page as well. Before it was taken down from YouTube, it had 88 likes and 5,000 dislikes. So there was a healthy ratio on all the platforms that they were posting this to. But as we know, with the internet, you can delete it, but you can't hide from it. So there definitely seems to be a pattern, especially lately with my recent videos. First, I talked about the Blues Clues Pride Parade and how harmful that was. And then it was talking about kink and kids at Pride and how harmful it is to show kids that type of stuff and why it's not right for children and the community. It's not the right message that we want to be putting out. But now we have a gay men's choir singing in unison, "We are coming for your kids." And yes, it's as creepy as it sounds. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children. We're coming for them. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children. We're coming for them. Your children will care about fairness and justice for others. Your children will work to convert all their sisters and brothers. Then soon we're almost certain your kids will start converting you. The gay agenda is coming home. The gay agenda is here. But you don't have to worry. Because there's nothing wrong with standing by our side. Get on board in a hurry. Because the world always needs a bit more pride. No, you don't have to worry. Because there's nothing wrong with standing by our side. Get on board in a hurry. Because the world always needs a bit more pride. Come on, try a little pride. We'll convert your children. Then we'll turn to you. Giving up the fear inside is freeing like you never knew. Go and see San Francisco. Go and turn up that disco. You'll forget you were ever upset. We'll convert your children and make an ally of you yet. We'll make an ally of you yet. We'll make an ally of you yet. So let's actually read some of the lyrics, though. I'm not going to post all the videos, but I will show you the lyrics and everything like that. And the source that I'm posting this from is the Post Millennial. You can actually go there and read the whole article about it, but I'm giving the basic synopsis of it here. And I'll actually have the link to that article below as well. So, you think we're sinful, you fight against our right, you say we all lead lives you can't respect, but you're just frightened. You think we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny this once, you're correct. So let's think about that for a second. You go in and you are confirming what social conservatives have feared, and not even just social conservatives, really anybody that's not a progressive. We don't want kids to be exploited and brainwashed into thinking certain things, right? But here they're saying that's exactly what they're trying to do. So then they go on, we'll convert your children, happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep them from disco, warn about San Francisco, make them wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children, we'll make them tolerant and fair. So here is that part of the video.
You think we're sinful? You fight against our rights. You say we all lead lives you can't respect. But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep them from disco, warn about San Francisco, make them wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children, we'll make them tolerant and fair.
Okay, so first let's talk about rights. I don't know a single right that the LGBT community doesn't have that everybody else has. We all have the same inalienable rights laid out in the Constitution. In my opinion, I've spoken on this before, that gay marriage was actually the wrong fight. I don't believe that government should be involved in marriage in the first place. But we fought for it. We got the same right to be oppressed by the same government. It's cool. I mean, so that fight is finished. And really, don't tell me that trans people are having their rights stripped away as well. Businesses have the right to make the rules to whatever they want them to be inside their businesses. Whatever bathroom they want me to use, I will use. If they're going to force me to go into the men's bathroom, I'm probably not going to go there. But to that end, the market can decide, and it should decide. I personally want to know who bigots are. I don't want to give them my money. I don't want to force them to take my money. I want to know who they are so I don't give them my money. And it's not a right to compete in sports. And I've talked a little bit more about sports on this channel. That's not a right. It is a privilege to be able to compete in sports. And I can tell you for a fact, I've been on hormones for 2.5 years now. I still have some advantages over the females I'm competing against in the gym every single day. I can see it. So that's a video for another time. So you can actually go back and see what I said last year about this topic. But the same applies. I've written articles and I've also spoken on this quite a bit on this channel. It's not a right to compete in sports. It's not. But what really catches my eye is where they actually use the word convert. We will convert your kids. It reminds me of conversion therapy, which this would almost be a reverse conversion therapy. We are going to brainwash your kids. We are going to convert them into being gay. And you can't convert somebody that's not gay into being gay. Remember this. But they're almost even pushing that stereotype that social conservatives have been worried about forever. And when you say that, it happens bit by bit, quiet and subtly. Well, and obviously it's not so subtle because it's in episodes of Blue's Clues. And I didn't think the Sesame Street was so bad, but it's everywhere. And as Lauren spoke about, when she was on here a few weeks ago, we talked about just using the word love is love. Is she right when she says they are subtly and ingraining this thing of that is love, and that really it's okay for a child to love an adult? That's really where a lot of people's minds go when you're talking about ingraining children. I mean, that is the slippery slope that they talk about. And most people would think that that sounds crazy. But then this choir comes out and says, well, we are indoctrinating your children. But let's move on. All right, so it says, just like you're worried they'll change their group of friends, you won't approve of where they go at night, talking about protest, and you'll be disgusted when they start learning things online that you kept far from their sight, like information. So then it goes on to say, Gen Z is gayer than Grindr, and even grandma likes RuPaul. And then, as I spoke about before, they start chanting, we're coming for them, we're coming for your children. Sounds like pedos wanting to come for your children. This is not the type of message that the community really needs. And obviously it's not the message that they want to put out there because they deleted it all. But it's out there for good because we have the videos. I've had my issues with social conservatives. We've talked about that. I personally think that we need to accept social conservatives for who they are. They're not really mean-spirited people. Everything that they do is based out of love. There's very few people that actually hate you. Okay? I can talk and sit down and talk to anybody, even a social conservative, as long as we have the basic respect between us. And this is not how you bring people to your side. This is not how you show them. You put something like this out, and it's basically mocking them to their face, like, yeah, we're doing what you think we're doing. That's not what you want to do. That's not how you bring people to acceptance. In a different part of the video, they state somebody has to teach them not to hate. But hate according to who? Even most religious people that I know, and if you know me, I consider myself a Catholic, they preach tolerance of other people's views and the way that other people live their lives. That's the way of Jesus. I can speak theology all day long. I can speak from my Catholic faith. Many people in the faith may disagree with me, but there's a lot of people that don't. And I'm not going to preach about, Christianity on here. I just want to point out that there are very few that are truly hateful. And then to go on and say that Gen Z is gayer than Grindr, it's essentially, again, mocking that our agenda is working. We've been doing this right in front of your face. You guys have known all along what we are doing, and it's working. Gen Z being gayer than Grindr, this also makes it seem to say you can make someone gay, which is the antithesis of what the community has preached for years. And I'll tell you, their Facebook promotion really didn't do it any favors. And it says, the rumors are true. We're coming for your children. Pride Month may be over, but the gay agenda never stops. Enjoy a message from the gay community, a heartwarming and hilarious piece. I'm sorry, I don't find this heartwarming or hilarious. I find it very, very disturbing. It's very disturbing. They're saying it. We are absolutely trying to brainwash your kids. And at a time where the community is trying to fight off the pedos from saying that they are part of the LGBT community, I don't think a song about pushing your agenda onto kids is very helpful. Kind of enforces that notion that pedophiles think that they're part of the community. So one commenter actually posted this meme, and it's absolutely true. This is how the community has evolved. So at the end of the gay marriage fight, a small group of activists had to come up with something to be outraged about. So as we've seen recently, they've been going after the religious right. And as we've seen in recent years, especially during Pride Month, they've been going after children. Kids trying to watch cartoons, and the LGBT community is trying to push all this stuff into their head. And you have to be pretty tone deaf to not see how a song like this, it can be so harmful to the community, especially as we see a fall in acceptance for the community. Now, GLAAD reported in 2019 adults reporting being very or somewhat comfortable with the LGBT people across 7 scenarios remains stable, 49%, versus 53% in 2017. The most interesting area of that change is the drop between 19 and 34 years old. Across all scenarios, it dropped from 53 to 45%, which means it's not, the young people are actually pushing away from the community, are less accepting of the community, not more. And this is after an all-time high of 63% in 2016. Now, we can't forget what happened in the 2015-2016 time frame, right? We have to remember in 2015, gay marriage was legalized. So that was the big win. That was the height of the acceptance in the community. Not long after that, Charlotte, North Carolina passed the bathroom bill forcing companies to allow trans people into the bathroom of their gender. So this bill was wrote up by Democrats in order to create a solution where there was never actually a problem. Trans people have been used in the bathroom for years, and with no issues, might I add, or very few. You never even really heard about it. And so what that did, and it worked. North Carolina State passed HB 1 in 2016, which was the bill that forced trans people into the bathroom of their sex. So it was a complete reversal of what Charlotte did, and it definitely caused a lot of backlash, right? It ended up being repealed, but it kind of started this next wave of activism after gay marriage was accepted, which it really made the LGBT activists look like they want special rights, not equal rights. I mean, gay marriage was about equal rights. Bathrooms is not about equal rights, it's about special rights. And I'm saying it's not about rights at all, it's about privileges. So I'm going to leave you with this, though. Remember, most activists never want their pet issue to be solved. Otherwise, they would be working themselves out of a job. And many LGBT people are actually starting to distance themselves from the community. It really is the LGBT of old, and then the TQ plus. Now, it's interesting that this is actually coming from a gay men's choir and not from some queer activist space, right? But if you ever had any doubts that their goal was to brainwash your kids, and now we can talk about the goal, what they were aiming for with this piece, because they want to get in your kid's head where you're not at. They want to stalk them online. They want to indoctrinate them in many ways. It goes along the same routes as like CRT and everything like that. They want to push this agenda onto your kids under your noses. So just because they took these videos offline doesn't mean they're not relevant, because they still believe these things. They still are coming for your kids. So we need to, especially us in the community, need to continue to push back against these people. They do not represent who I am. Let kids be kids. We don't need to be pushing these subliminal messages onto them. And they don't need to know about sex. They don't need to know about kink. And they don't need you coming for them. Let parents raise their kids. Most people are pretty tolerant these days, I would say. But what the activists what the activists are not looking at is they are losing acceptance. And they want to blame it on the bigotry, on the hatred. That's not what it is. I've been all over this country. People do not hate me. In some of the most remote places you could think of, I have been treated with nothing but kindness. I don't think I passed that well. but people have treated me quite well in person. I might get a little bit of hate online. That's not an that's a small sector of people who are too cowardly to say anything in person. So I really do have faith in people of faith. I have a lot of friends who are Christian, and they accept me, and we talk about the issues, where they can and cannot support. I mean, I grew up in a very conservative Catholic household who has been nothing but accepting of me, who's been nothing but accepting of, other LGBT family members. So to the community, stop this. This is not helpful. And to everybody else, please realize that this really isn't the vast majority of people in this community. Most LGBT people don't even recognize what the community has even become anymore. And like I said, it's kind of been since 2015 when gay marriage was legalized. The activists have to go after something else. And the trans issues have given them that platform. It's made it the popular thing to do because that's what the activists are so focused on right now, which is why I'm out here to show you most transsexuals don't believe what the activists are pushing on them. But anyways, thank you again for joining today. I really appreciate it. Make sure you click that like and subscribe button below. It definitely helps get these videos in front of more people. It also helps me be able to get more awesome guests like I'm going to have coming up here in the next few weeks. I will be back in my home studio next week. So look forward to some more awesome interviews coming up and some more videos like this as things arise. Thanks for joining.